So I'd like to share something with you tonight that I think is very fascinating. You know, when we speak about Judaism, it's interesting that to call Judaism a religion is the wrong term. We're not a religion. I don't know what a religion is, but we're not that. We happen to be a nation, and we're a nation that was given a Torah. And the Torah is really the means through which we can have a relationship with Hashem. That's what it is. If I were to define Judaism in one word, I would call it a relationship. It's the means to have a relationship with the Creator of the universe. The word religion sounds kind of hollow and kind of old-fashioned compared to the word relationship. Judaism is a relationship. It's the means through which we can have the perfect relationship with our Creator and the Creator of the universe. And who doesn't want that? And the whole Torah is really about establishing that relationship. That's really what it is. All of the mitzvahs are vehicles to connect ourselves more deeply to the source. In fact, the word mitzvah in Hebrew comes from the Hebrew word sevet, which means a connection. A mitzvah doesn't mean a commandment, as we often translate it. Mitzvah actually means connection. In Hebrew, the word sevet means a team, people who are joined together. So a mitzvah, really, we have 613 points of connection to God. Points of establishing and building that relationship. Now, what I think is fascinating, when Hashem revealed himself to the entire Jewish nation, we know he did so in a way that the entire people witnessed him and saw him. And at that point, he gave us what we call the Aseret HaDibrot, the 10 Commandments, or the 10 statements, the Aseret HaDibrot. Now, these 10 Commandments were, in some ways, God is giving us, Hashem was giving us, perhaps the 10 most important principles that we need to know. And our sages teach us that the 10 Commandments really, in some ways, are the root directory for the entire 613 mitzvot. From these 10, you can derive all 613. Apparently, you could derive all 10 from the first 2. You could derive the first 2 from the first 1. You could derive the first 1 from the first word. You get the first word from the first letter. The 10 Commandments bring you back to the source of it all. So the 10 Commandments are actually the source of the entire Torah. These 10 Commandments. Now, I'm going to suggest something to you tonight. And my suggestion is like this. If the purpose of Judaism is to have a relationship with God, or to have relationships in general, because the truth of the matter is we're not able to relate to God unless we can relate to each other. How can I relate to a being I don't know if I can't relate to a being who I can see? You, my wife, my kids, my friends. So obviously Judaism is about having a relationship, whether it be between people and God. You need both. But if that's the goal, to get a relationship, to create relationships, I'm going to suggest something tonight, and that is that the 10 Commandments must be the vehicle to establish that relationship. These are the most important 10 principles God's going to give us. Why? Because these 10 principles are the principles of what we need to create the perfect relationship. So I dare say, if we analyze the 10 Commandments well, which we're going to do tonight, and if you stay with me and you follow the train of thought, you're going to see something very interesting. The 10 Commandments are really going to unlock the secret of what relationships require. And that's what God is giving us. So let's take a look. Now, let's begin this process in this way. Let's take a look at the 10 Commandments, and I'll read them to you, and I'm going to ask you to vote on them. Take a vote. Should they be included? You know, we have 613 mitzvot, 613 commandments. So, are these 10 the most important? Are these 10 the 10 you would choose? If you were the committee deciding on the 10 most important statements that you want as the declaration of Judaism, the 10 most important things that you want to give to the entire Jewish people before you give the Torah, before you give the rest of the Torah, would you pick these 10? So let's begin. Number 1. Anochi Hashem Elochecha, I am the Lord your God. Yes, no? Does it make the cut? Makes the draft? Okay. I am the Lord your God. What you think about it, it's not really a commandment. There's no command, I am the Lord your God. Because God can't command that. He's not command. All he's saying is focus on reality. God just appears before the entire Jewish people. In fact, when the entire Jewish people saw Hashem and Hashem revealed himself, it says that he died. The neshama just burst out of the body, and the body just collapsed. Normally the body can contain the soul. God makes a sort of miracle that this lowly body can contain such a lofty soul. But when God is right in front of us and God reveals himself, Hashem reveals himself, then the neshama just wants to fly out. So it said, when Hashem said, I am Hashem, the Lord your God, the souls just burst out of the bodies and everyone died. So apparently angels had to come down and resurrect them. And then God said the second commandment. Everybody died again. And finally he said to Moshe, okay, you hear the rest of it. We've heard enough. It's very painful to have to die many times. But the first commandment, God says, just focus on reality. I am Hashem, the Lord your God, who took you out of Egypt. Okay, good. It makes the commandment. It's up there. Take a look up there. It's right-hand side, first one, Anochi Hashem. There it is. Okay, good. Second commandment. Lo yihiyeh eluchim acherim al panai. Don't take any false gods, no other gods. No false gods. Does it make the cut? Yes, no?
But wouldn't the first one cover the...
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Obviously a heritage retreat graduate. Rabbi Kellerman, Rabbi Gottlieb, who else is out there? Right? Very good. Yeah, you got a good feeling. Very good. Excellent. Yeah, I would say that's inclusive in the first one. A little bit repetitive. God says, I am the Lord your God. I just revealed myself to you. Then God has to say, by the way, no false gods. No false gods. I dare say that's repetitive. Okay, let's close up. Let's go home. That's it. Then the lecture tonight. No, it sounds very repetitive, doesn't it? It sounds very repetitive. God just reveals himself. He shows himself, and then he says, by the way, no false gods. Okay, we have to understand it. What it means like this. If somebody worships a stone, or somebody worships a rock, somebody worships a tree, that person's not an idol worshiper. That person's insane. That's insanity. You're going to bow down to a rock? You're going to bow down to a stone? They're not an idol worshiper. You should be locked up. Should be in some institution. Sorry, but you should be. That's not what idol worship was. Idol worship was as follows. Hashem allows there to be a flow to the world. What Hashem uses to flow his energy into the world, he uses the mazalot. He uses the stars. He uses the planetary system. He uses the moon. He uses the sun. So the way Hashem brings energy into the world, spiritual energy, is through the alignment of stars. Now, there was a time in human history when people were very aware of this. And to be very aware of this, it meant that when certain stars would line up in a certain way, you could actually experience, I can see from those stars, a flow is coming, and that flow is allowing the crops to grow. You can see it. You can experience the way God uses his messengers, his agents, so to speak, the stars, in order to bring about his desire to the world. Now, there's a danger in that. You know what the danger is? The danger is that you might come, instead of worshiping God, you might come to worship the stars. That's not insanity. Insanity means if I'm just going to worship a rock. But if I understand that when the stars lined up in a certain way, it brings a flow to the world, that flow brings a direct benefit to the crops, and I start thinking, oh my gosh, that star is the source, that's not insanity. That's just not using my mind completely. You have to look behind the star and say, wait a minute, who created the star? Where's the real source of it all? That's what idol worship was. Idol worship really meant they understood the way God is using the planetary system. That's why the early idol worshippers were called Ovdei Kochavim, worshippers of the stars. See how it works? And that's why when we say to each other, for example, in Hebrew we say to each other, Mazal Tov. What does Mazal Tov mean? Congratulations or what?
Good luck.
Good luck, right. So I'll tell you something. To say good luck is insulting even to an idol worshiper. That's insulting. Good luck? Good luck. You go to a wedding, you see the bride and groom, you say to them, good luck. Statistically, you have a 1 in 2 chance of making it. If this is a second marriage for either one of you, it's about, but statistically, you're not going to go, good luck. That's what we're saying to everybody, Mazal Tov. Good luck. As Jews, we don't believe in luck. Luck is not a concept that we believe as Jews. In fact, there's no word for it in Torah. There's no word for luck. Mazal. I'll tell you what it means. Even the word coincidence doesn't exist in the Hebrew language. Bamikra means it's called out. What's that?
And the word doubt doesn't exist.
Doubt doesn't exist either. There's no such thing as doubt. Doubt's a rabbinic word, right? Because doubt, right, can't even be doubt. So when we say, what's mazal? mazal in Hebrew actually means, mazal comes from the Hebrew word nozel. Nozel means, Hebrew speakers? What? A flow. Like a nozelet. Nozelet is a faucet. Nozel means something flows. It's nozel. It flows. That's what mazal is. We call the stars the mazalot. Why? Because God uses the stars to bring His nozel to the world, to flow out to the world. So when we say mazal tov to somebody, you know what we're saying? Oh, we're saying that mazal tov. Mazal tov, say like the bride and groom, just like God is flowing to you such great blessing at this moment, it should continue the rest of your life. That's what we're saying, mazal tov. You should continue the flow. You should continue to receive God's flow. God should continue to flow His blessing to you. That's what it means. Doesn't mean luck. Luck is not a Jewish concept. Good luck. Good luck. It doesn't work. That's what mazal tov is. Now, I say that because we have to understand, when the Torah gives a prohibition against worshiping idols, it's a real prohibition. God is saying, look, I am the Lord your God, but there should be no other gods beside me, saying, when you're going to see the flow, the energy, the nozel coming from the mazal, from the stars, don't worship the stars. Recognize that I'm the source behind it all. Don't make a mistake to look superficially at life. Look to see what's really behind it all. See how it works? So that's what you're saying when you say mazal tov. Mazal tov means the flow should be good. God should continue to flow to you blessing. That's a completely different meaning than good luck. People say good luck. They say to me sometimes, I say, I'm going to give a class now. He'll say, good luck. I think I need it. Thank you, I need luck. It's wrong. It's wrong because luck implies chance. We don't believe in chance. Mazal is a whole different meaning. Mazal tov means flow, because God uses the stars to flow to the world. And in our lives, God brings flow. Mazal, that's what it means. So that's the fear God is saying. God is saying, look, I'm the Lord your God. You just saw me. But you're also going to see me reveal my blessings in the world through the stars and the planetary system. Don't make a mistake and worship the planets. Recognize I'm behind it all. Commandment number 2. Good commandment? I think we're on track. Yeah? Good. Make sense? Good. Third commandment. Third commandment is Lo tisa Hashem elokecha l'shav. Don't take my name in vain. Now, one of the things that means is it means don't swear falsely. Don't use my name to swear falsely. Should it be in the Ten Commandments?
Sounds important.
Sounds important. Okay. A little redundant, I'm the Lord your God, no other gods beside me. And now God says, and don't take my name in vain. Don't swear falsely with my name. Now let me tell you what that means. It means like this. If you take an oath, a shvua, there are 2 types of oaths you could take. One type of oath I could take is this. Let's say I go to a court and I want to deny that Reuven lent me or gave me $1 million, lent me $1 million. I want to deny it. So they say, did he lend you $1 million, right, Kraft? And I say, I'll take an oath, or someone will say, take an oath that he didn't lend me the money. And that person lies under oath to get away with $1 million. That's one type of oath you can take. Another type of oath you could take is to take an oath that this table is really a chair. Those are two types of oaths. One type of oath, you want to get away with a lot of money. Second type of oath is you want to swear that this table is a chair, or the chair is a table. Which of those 2 types of oaths do you think the Torah is referring to when the Torah says don't take God's name in vain? Your first one, why?
Well, if somebody's referring to the chair, that means it's just insane.
It's insanity, right? Good.
And the first one is you're actually hurting somebody else, physically.
I'm with you 100%. If not for the fact, Albina.
But could it also be the second one?
Because?
Considering that you're trying to change a person's perspective beyond any reasonable logic.
Uh-huh.
Well, he's not trying to change the person's perspective. He's changing his own perspective.
See, when you say that when you're trying to convince a person that easel is a chair or the table is whatever, it's more metaphorical. It's like you're trying to falsely change them. And that's a lot worse than just embezzling money from them. Because you're intrinsically changing the person within instead of just embezzling something that is replaceable.
I hear you say both saying good. So we have a choice. You're both saying Both points are good. I think Yair's point is very good. Maybe God's referring to, don't use God's name to get away with $1 million. Rabbi is saying, look, don't use God's name to say something stupid, to say something which is false. Right? Don't use God's name for such a lowly thing. Let's take a vote. Who says Yair's right? Who says Albina's right?
Let's give him 50-50.
Who says the oath they're talking about is an oath that says, don't use God's name in vain to try to get away with a lot of money? Who wants to say that? Okay. Yeah, sounds pretty good. Yeah, say it right. Who wants to say, well, Albina's saying the oath is an oath that says, don't use God's name to say a table's a chair? Who says that one? Who said they don't know? Okay, all of us, right? I mean, Yair, I'll tell you like this. I think what Yair is saying is what I would have said had I not known what the Torah is saying. What the Torah is saying is what Albina is saying. That the oath being referred to is an oath, don't swear that a table is a chair. Or don't swear a chair is a table. Don't swear in some way in which you just say a ridiculous thing. Now that's funny, because I would have said, look, if God's giving the Ten Commandments, He would say, don't use my name to try to, embezzle, to get away with something big. God's saying, don't use my name for something ridiculous. So we have to think about that, why that is so. But we'll hold it for a moment. Commandment number 4. Zuchores Yom Shabbos Lekadasho, to keep Shabbos. Does it make it? We include it? Committee?
Yeah.
Shabbos, good, we like Shabbos. Chulent, Osvo, good things. Right? Good, makes it. Habit number 5. Kabid esavicha vesimecho. Honor your mother and father.
It's very important.
Very important.
Teaches the root to respect the
Root, right? All society needs that.
The greatest mitzvahs are out there.
One of the greatest mitzvahs. Okay, good. I'm with you. Good one. Let's go to the other side. Move to the second column, second tablet. Lo tirtzach, don't murder. Yes, no? Included? Keep it in? Good. I agree. How about lo sinov, no adultery? No adultery?
Very important.
Very important. Okay, good, important. How about the next one? Lo signov. Lo signov means don't steal. Yes, no? There's only one problem with that. It's kidnapping. There's another prohibition in the Torah, lo sigzol, which is don't steal. Lo signov is don't kidnap. If I were God, I would give perhaps the more general commandment, which is don't steal. Why does God give that very specific commandment, which is don't kidnap? Don't kidnap. I mean, how many times do people kidnap? People steal all the time, but kidnapping, it's a very rare occurrence. And that is the 7th commandment. Lo signov means don't kidnap. I mean, I'm sorry, but I think that's a little bit too specific. I'm sorry.
How often does it happen?
How often does it happen? We're wondering about that
That's
one.
not the point, though. It happens. That's the fact.
Okay. It could happen. Could happen.
It does happen.
It does happen. But perhaps maybe God should have used lo sigzol, which means don't steal in general. What's that? I believe God knows what he's talking about also. But we'll have to analyze why. Number 9. Lo sa'ana. Let's get the whole pasuk here. Lo sa'ana v're'echa eit sheker. That means don't be a false witness in a court of law. Somebody calls you to a court of law to testify. Someone needs you as a witness to come in and you saw something. Don't accept a bribe. Don't lie. Tell the truth. It's a commandment to not be a false witness in a court of law. Should it be included in the 10 Commandments?
Yeah.
It's a good one.
It goes deeper. Everything goes deeper than just what it is.
It's a good one. It seems to be also very specific. How about the last one? Lo sachamod. Lo sachamod means don't covet. Don't desire. If somebody has a beautiful car, don't be jealous of it. Don't desire it. Somebody has beautiful clothing, don't desire it. Don't be jealous of it. Someone has a good job, don't desire it. Don't be jealous or desire someone else's husband, someone else's wife. Don't desire what someone else has. Lo sachmod. Number 10. Does it make it? Should it be included? Okay, I mean, I dare say it's a very nice commandment, but it's all about the heart. It's all about the human heart, right? If you have a choice of 10, you have 613 mitzvot. Would you choose that as the 10th one?
It goes against the human nature, though.
It's fighting human nature so much. Maybe that's why. I mean, okay, I agree with you. It's just we'll have to analyze what it's doing there. I think it's something which is so much inside the human being. Why is that the 10th commandment? And perhaps maybe the most important of them. Okay, the question is, though, why these 10? There's so many other commandments that are left out. How about giving charity? How about supporting the widow? How about supporting the orphan?
Doesn't it all fall in their own category?
Maybe you could put them into one of those 10. Perhaps, you're right. These are the root directory. 100%. But these were the ones that Hashem chose, these 10. Okay, now here's another question I have for everybody. Why does God need 2 tablets? Yep.
One between a man and him, one between a man and Solomon.
Oh, what's your name?
Elon.
Well, Elon's suggesting something. I mean, the reality is God could have written it all in a very small font, right? He could have gone to his great computer up in the sky, and he could have typed in, 0.3, 0.2, done a nice one of those little fancy, calligraphy fonts. And beautiful, there it is, presto, there it is on the rock, right? Yet God chose, he wants to put it on 2 tablets. And by putting it on 2 tablets, he's obviously creating some sort of natural distinction for us, separation, 2 categories. So Elon suggested the categories on the right-hand side, we see mitzvahs between man and God. And the second side, we see mitzvahs between man and man. Now, there's one commandment that throws off Elon's theory. Which commandment is that, Amina?
Honor your mother and father.
Why? Because?
Because it's on the side which
it's
is
a
what the
connector.
mitzvahs are between man and God.
It's on the side of man and God. It sounds like honoring one's parents should be on the side between man and man. True? 3 people. There are 3 parties in creation. Some say there are 3 parties in creation, man, God, and Hashem. But again, parents are physical beings. So perhaps we have to analyze it. Yeah.
You say that when you honor your parents, you're honoring God.
Because?
Because it's like honoring God. That's the equivalent. So,
Right. There are some say they're your creator. So perhaps maybe Emil is suggesting that instead of calling the first column mitzvahs between man and God, let's call them mitzvahs between man and our creators. We have 2 types of creators. We have our Hashem, and we have our parents. Right? So our creators, man and creators, and the second side is between man and man. Maybe that's a little bit better, a little more specific. Okay? So far so good. Now, here's step 2. Step 2 goes like this. Our sages teach us that Hashem put 5 on one side and 5 on the other side. And in fact, the 5 on the right side faced the 5 on the left side. That's to say, if you line up the 5 over here, and you line up the 5 over here, 1 corresponds to 6, 2 corresponds to 7, 3 corresponds to 8, 4 to 9, and 5 to 10. That's what sages say. 5 here, that really they fold in on each other like this. So 1 and 6 are 1 unit, 2 and 7 are a unit, 3 and 8 are a unit, 4 and 9 are a unit, 5 and 10 are a unit. That's what our sages teach us. Now, what does that mean? I think it might mean as follows. We mentioned, as we began this talk, that the whole purpose of Judaism is to have a relationship with God. Is to have a relationship in general. In fact, when they asked Rabbi Akiva, they said, what's the main principle of the Torah? Rabbi Akiva said, V'ahavta l'recha kamocha. Love your fellow man like you love yourself. So that's the main principle, to love another being. That's all the Torah is included in that. To be able to relate to somebody else. So they asked Rabbi Akiva and they said, wait a minute, but wait, aren't you forgetting a whole side of the Torah? What about mitzvahs between man and God? So Rabbi Akiva answered and he said, wait a minute. God is also your friend. God is also a being. You have to relate to him. So Rabbi Akiva is really teaching that a relationship, whether between a relationship between man and man or a relationship between man and God, is really the same type of relationship. The whole purpose of Judaism is to v'ahavta l'recha, to love someone who's not you. Whether that means loving God, having a relationship with God, or loving another human being, having a relationship with another human being. That's the whole principle of Torah. V'ahavta l'recha kamocha. Either that recha is God or the recha is somebody else. Doesn't matter, same principle. So this is my suggestion. Perhaps we have to say that if that's the whole purpose of the Torah, to develop that relationship, to have that relationship with human beings and with God, the 10 Commandments are the ways to get there. But if these 5 that have to do between man and our creators face the ones that have to do with man, and they kind of fold in on each other like this, maybe we have to say that there are really 5 principles that govern relationships. 5 principles of relationships. And these relationships, these principles will express themselves in the world of man and God, or man and one's creators, or it will express itself in the world of man and man. But there are 5 principles. That's all. 10 commandments, 5 principles. And let's see how that works. Commandment number 1, what is that? Once again, commandment number 1. Anochi Hashem Elochecha, I am the Lord your God. Commandment number 6, what is it? Lo tirtzach, don't murder. What's the connection? Can we find an underlying theme that connects those 2 points? Those 2 commandments?
Maybe you have no right to kill somebody because you're not God.
So saying very good.
You're killing his creation.
Very good. When you kill a human being, you're actually in some ways killing God. Every human being is created in the image of God. 100%. Definitely true. We could hear a connection pretty easily. But let's analyze it one step deeper. The first commandment, God says, Anochi Hashem Elochecha. I am God. I am the Lord your God. I'm God. God's teaching us something very important about how to have a relationship with Him and with other human beings. The first thing you need in a relationship is you have to recognize the other exists outside of you. You have to realize that there's an existence to this person, and this person isn't just there for you. This person or this being exists and has their own special identity. They have their own special existence. God is saying, I am the Lord your God. I have an existence that's outside of you. Then why is that perhaps the first thing one needs in having a relationship? I think the reason is because, in a relationship with God, you can have 2 types of relationships with God. One type of relationship is the really positive relationship, where you could say, God, you're you and I'm me, and I want to get to know you. You are so awesome, you're so good, you're so kind, you're so giving, and I want to get to know you. I'm amazed by you, I'm in awe of you. You're constantly giving to the universe in every moment. I want to relate to you, I want to understand you, I want to know you. That's a very deep, positive relationship. I want to get to know you. I want to know and love you for who you are, God. There's a negative relationship you can have with God. You know what that relationship is? Well, God, I know that I'd like to have money. I'd like to have a big house. I'd like to drive a fancy car. And I don't seem to be able to do it by myself. I know that you're the source of it all. And I better, therefore, ask you for things and get to know you, because without you, I'm not going to get what I want or have what I want. So therefore, I better start speaking to you and relating to you and talking to you. Do we hear why that might be a negative type of relationship with God? I want a relationship with God, not because I want to get to know God, because of what God can do for me. Now, that's not a bad way to start, by the way. It's not a bad way to start the relationship. God, I need you. Without you, I'm not going to make it in this world. I'm not going to get anywhere in this world. But that's not where it should end.
That's the way it is, though. You don't do it for him, you do it for yourself.
The reality
You
is,
don't need anything from him. You have to do it for himself.
But at the end of the day, if I really want to love God, what really should drive me is I want to love God for who God is, for who Hashem is. Not just because He's the great candy man in the sky. Not just because He provides all my needs and therefore I need Him. One can almost have a relationship with God which is childlike in a sense. God, I know I need you. Maybe that's the level in itself to know you need God. I dare say maybe it's a level, at least I know you exist, I know you're there, and I need you. But that's the beginning of the relationship. That's not the end of the relationship. The end of the relationship has to be where, God, I recognize you for who you are, or at least what I am capable of recognizing, and I want to love you. You exist for who you exist as an amazing being. And it's true you do so much for me, but I want to know you. I don't want just to know you, just to get to know you because of what you give me. I want to be in awe of you for who you are. I want to love you for you. I don't want to just love you because of you give to me. Do you hear the difference? A child might relate to God in a simple way, right? And maybe we do also. God, look, I know I need you. Like, I want to have livelihood. I want to have money. I want to have health. Therefore, I better speak to you. That's a good way to start the relationship, because we do need God so much. But we should be a little bit more mature in the relationship and build it and say, now that I realize I need you and you're the supplier of it all, and you're so magnificent and so wonderful, I want to get to know you, and I want to understand you, and I want to talk to you, and I want to love you. I don't want to just love you because of what you give to me. I want to love you for who you are. See how that works? Yeah.
Isn't that essence contradicting itself? Because he is a giving thing, a giving
Right.
being.
By definition.
So, by definition, if you're going to say, I love you for you, but not for what you do for me, you are loving him for what he does to you, because he's always giving to you constantly. So
Right.
like,
100%. 100%. And that's what I'm suggesting, Rachel, that perhaps that's that will always be an undertone in the relationship. You're always giving to me, but it shouldn't stop there. It shouldn't stop there. We see, for example, we go back to the first story in the Torah, and we have a guy named Cain, and Cain brings an offering to God. He invents this idea, God, I want to give you a gift. And God turns to Cain and says, listen, Cain, why did you give me the cheapest stuff? If you want to give me a gift, give me the best stuff. Why did you give me the cheapest stuff? That's what God says to Cain. And he's telling Cain, look, you gave me a gift, not because you appreciate me, but because you know that you need me. And I don't want that relationship with you, God is saying. I want you to give to me because you love me. You appreciate me, not because you need me. Do you have the difference? In the human world, maybe we could hear this even deeper. This like imagine, right, husband, wife, right, the guy gets married, and he's coming out of the subway, and remembers it's his wife's birthday, right? So he says, oh my gosh, it's her birthday. I didn't get her anything. And he reaches into his pocket, he has $5. So that's all he has. He's a poor guy. He doesn't have any money. He's trying to finish medical school or pharmacy school or something like that. There's no money. And so he said, but hey, you know what she really likes? She likes yellow roses. So he runs 10 blocks up Queens Boulevard, puffs and puffs, gets to a store where they sell yellow roses. He goes, how much yellow roses? It's $5 a stem. Takes that $5, right? Pays for it. Beautiful yellow rose. Comes back, puffs, doesn't have any money left for the subway even. Goes back, runs home, he's sweating and schwitzt. Comes to his wife. I just want to say happy birthday. She sees he's schwitzed and, sweaty, and he says, it's for you. She looks at yellow rose. She accepts it as a beautiful gift. It's a beautiful gift. Ladies, beautiful gift. It's beautiful. Because it appreciates. It's a gift. It's a gift. I appreciate who you are, and I'm giving you a gift because I appreciate you. Now, let's change this narrative a little bit. Now the story goes like this. He gets off the subway. Says, oh my gosh, it's her birthday. Boy, is she going to be upset at me if I don't have a gift. So what does he do? He reaches into his pocket. Goes, oh no, I have this $5. What can I get her for $5? So he looks there, he goes, oh, Dwayne Reed, perfect. He walks into Dwayne Reed, starts looking around, mouthwash, no, toothpaste, we have tons of it. Shampoo, nah. So he walks down the line, chocolates. So what does he find? He finds a big heart box of chocolates. Looks at the price, look, $3.99, perfect, yeah, $3.99. So he walks up, takes it, puts it in the bag, gives the guy the $5, so happy, gets the, $2 change, walks out, comes home, he says, honey, happy birthday, gives her the Dwayne Reed bag, she takes out the chocolate, she sees the $2.99 sticker on it, she looks at it, what does she do? She takes the chocolate, hits him on the head with it, and says, listen, that's not the type of gift that I want. Don't give me a gift because, if you don't give me a gift, I'll be upset with you. That's not a gift that I want. A gift has to be a gift that represents the fact that you appreciate me. That's the type of gift I want. That's a real gift. So they say what Cain did was Cain said to God, God, I need you. I like to have a lot of crops. I like to have a big harvest. I know without you I'm not going to have it, so I got to give you a gift. So what did Cain do? He gave the worst of his crops. And God gave it back. He said, that's not what I want. A gift has to represent that I appreciate and love you for who you are. That's what a gift is. That's when a relationship really gets solid. Now, I'm suggesting, perhaps, Rochel, that in our relationship with God, we have to build it in a way where it begins in the recognition of Hashem, yeah, I need you. Without you, I don't have anything. Without you, my kidneys don't work. Without you, I can't stand for even one moment. Without you, my digestive tract won't work. Without you, my pulmonary system doesn't work. Without you, my cardio system doesn't work. Without you, my spinal cord doesn't work, right? Without you, my cerebral functioning doesn't work. God, I need you. I need you, and I want you. I want you in my life. But that's the beginning of the relationship. After that, it has to progress to a relationship with God of, Hashem, I recognize that you exist for who you are, and you're so awesome. And I want to get to know you. I want to relate to, I want to relate to you. Now, it's always going to be that point I know you're giving to me, but I want to get back. I don't just love you because you give to me. I love you for for who you are. And that's why, in our relationship with God, you've probably noticed that Hashem leaves a lot about himself hidden. There's a lot about God that's hidden. There are many things in this world that we require emunah for, trust. Why does God create a world like that? For we don't understand God's ways all the time. Sometimes we understand, sometimes we don't understand. You know why God created a world like that? Because what really builds a relationship is when you relate to what you don't understand about God. If I'm just going to love God for what I understand about God, I'm not really loving God. I'm loving my mind's conception of God. But if I can love God for what I don't understand about him, then I'm really loving God. That's called emunah. I trust you in what I don't understand. But that's real love. Real love means you love what you don't know about the other. And in the human world also. What you really love about your spouse is not what you know. Because what you know is your mind's perception. You're loving your mind. What you really love is what you don't know about him or her. Because then you're loving him or her. Do you hear how that works? I have to love what I don't know about you. So how does it work? God gives us so much information about himself. He shows how good he is and how kind he is, how much he's giving to us and to the world. And he's all about love and chesed, and he builds a world that's perfect for us. And he builds a body that's perfect. And everything is, and he gives us a Torah to give us happiness and direction. He gives us olam haba, so we should have eternal reward and pleasure. Everything is for us. So then we have to extrapolate and say, okay, God, even the things I don't understand about you, I'm going to also love. You show me so much good, I'm going to love even that which I don't understand. But there has to be something left over. Do you hear how that works? There has to be something left over, or I'm not really loving God. So for a relationship to be real, for a relationship to be deep, you have to recognize the existence of the other outside of you. You're not just here for me, you exist for who you are. And I want to love you for who you are. So the first commandment God gives us is a commandment that says, Anochi Hashem Elochecha. I am the Lord your God. I exist outside of you. I'm not just the great candy man in the sky who gives you what you need. I have an existence to get to know me. And that has to be there. And if you think about it, in the world of man and man, what does God say? Lo sirtzach, don't murder. To murder somebody is to say, you don't really exist, do you? You have no existence outside of me. You're there for me to take away if I feel like doing it. It's a murderers. Murder doesn't mean self-defense. Murder means murder because you're in the way. Because I want something from you. I want your money. I don't want you around. That's murder. You have no real existence except to satisfy my needs. That's what murder says. I don't recognize you as a world by yourself. You have no real existence, and therefore I can take it away if I feel like it. That's what murder is. So God's telling us something very interesting. God's telling us the first foundation of a relationship. If you want to relate to God, or you want to relate to a man or a human being, what is it? Recognize the existence of the other outside of you. The other exists outside of you. They have their own existence, and love them for who they are. Recognize they're a world by themselves. Recognize they're not just there to satisfy your needs, but they're there, and recognize who God is. Recognize there's existence. Do you hear how that works, everybody? You with me? So relationship principle number 1 is, I am the Lord your God, don't murder. The common denominator, recognize the other exists outside of you, existence. And it's so important in a relationship. So crucial. So crucial. She's not just here to make me dinner. I'm not just here to provide a livelihood. She exists for who she is. I exist for who I am. And you have to love the other for who they are. They exist outside of you. God exists outside of us also. He's giving constantly, you're right, Rachel. He's giving and giving and giving. But I want to love God not just because he fulfills my needs, because I want to get to know him. I want to get to know who he is, what he's about. That's real love. Recognize the other exists outside of you. Because that's relationship principle number one God is giving. The purpose of the Torah is relationships. Perhaps that's the most important first step in a relationship. The other exists outside of you. Okay, let's keep going. Commandment number 2. What is it? No false gods. No idolatry. Commandment number 7 is lo sinaf, no adultery. No idolatry, no adultery. These sound very similar in English, don't they? I'm sure that's not an accident. No idolatry, no adultery. What's the connection? What's the common link? Yeah. Yeah. Right. In fact, that's what it is, right? Idolatry means you're substituting other things for God. Adultery means you're substituting somebody else for someone you're supposed to be loyal to. It's substitution. They both have to do with loyalty. Now, why is loyalty such an important part of a relationship with God? And why is loyalty so much an important part of a relationship with human beings? Why is that the second most important principle God has to teach us about having a relationship? Loyalty. What's so special about loyalty? So perhaps we can explain like this. That loyalty means, when God says, don't substitute anything for me. And when God says, don't substitute anything or anybody for him or her. Be loyal. What God is saying, I'll say it like this, that we're all mature. That, our ears are pretty much generic. Right? Our noses are pretty much the same. Right? Our hands all have 5 fingers, our toes all have 5 toes. Right? Our elbows look pretty much, right? Body parts are exchangeable. Body parts are pretty much the same. True? Pretty much. That's the reality. What makes us unique and different is not the body part. It's what's inside the body. It's who we are on the inside. Loyalty is so important in a marriage because loyalty says, don't look at this person superficially as a body. Look at this person for who this person is. This person will never exist again in human history. Just like this person has a face that has never appeared before in human history, it means this person has a soul and an internal makeup that has never appeared before in human history. Loyalty means that you look at the other and say, I cannot exchange you for anybody else. There's no substitute that can take your place. That's what loyalty means. Loyalty means you look deeper. You say, I can't replace you. If a person is not loyal in a relationship, basically what they're saying is, you have arms and he has arms and she has arms, so what's the difference, right? So, exchange every now and then. Loyalty means you go a little deeper. Not just a little deeper, a lot deeper. And you realize that the essence of this person is, you can't exchange it. You can't replace it. You can't substitute it for anybody. That's what it means. You look and you see that there's something totally unique about the other that you cannot replace. That's the second most important element of the relationship. The other is totally unique for who they are. You cannot exchange them. You cannot replace them. And if you're not going to be loyal, it means you're not looking deep enough. You haven't discovered anything unique about the other. If you're saying, I can replace you with him or her. We're all the same. We're all just generic. So let's just exchange body parts every now and then. Excuse me if I'm going too far in this metaphor. But that's what it is. Loyalty means I'm looking deep to discover who you are. Finding the uniqueness about you. Now, the world of man and God is the same thing. God is saying, listen, you have to look deep and discover me. Look to find me. You're going to see a lot of things in the world that might be the sort that might indicate power, and you're going to see me flow to the world in certain ways. But look deeper. Look behind it all. Realize that I am totally unique, and those are just the things that I use in order to bring my blessing out to the world. Go deeper. Always look to discover there's something about me that cannot be exchanged. Don't exchange me for anything else. Be loyal to me. Now, it's interesting, it could be in times in life, in relationships, when we don't like to go deep like this. Because it's much easier to see somebody else superficially, or just as a body. Because, you see somebody as a body, you perhaps don't have to give as much of yourself. I don't have to give so much because I'm not looking to find so much in you. Sometimes people are afraid of really being intimate because they don't want to expose themselves. They just look superficial in the relationship. Sometimes with God it's the same thing also, The more I'm going to look to discover God, the more I have to give up part of myself. God, if I'm going to look to always find you, it means I have to do what you want me to do. Sometimes it's easier to relate to the sun or the moon because I don't have to give much of myself up. I want to get the power, I want to get the flow and the energy, but I don't want to have to change my life in any way. If I'm going to look to discover God, it means I'm going to have to be bound to God. So let me just relate to something superficial like God's moon or stars or whatever it is. And in a marriage, I don't want to have to do so much for you. I don't want to have to get to know you too deeply or have to sacrifice so much for you. So let me look at you sort of superficially. You're just a body. That attitude is a very dangerous attitude. It's a very dangerous attitude. If a relationship is really going to work, a person has to be willing to go to the next step and look behind the superficial and say, there's something that's irreplaceable about you. It's irreplaceable. To go there sometimes is a little scary. A little scary sometimes. But that's what God is saying. There has to be loyalty. Step number 2 is there has to be loyalty in a relationship. Let's look at the third principle. Principle number 3. What's the third commandment? Don't take God's name in vain. Don't swear this table is a chair. The 8th commandment is lo signo, don't kidnap. What's the connection? Interesting. I think it means like this. Perhaps it means respecting the property and boundaries of the other. Now I think it means like this. Sometimes what happens in relationships, in all relationships, is you get very close to somebody, and by getting very close, you tend to lose boundaries a little bit. You sometimes see this, let's say, with teenagers. Teenagers sometimes get very excited over the fact that they get close to a friend. And all of a sudden, when they see the friends, they say, oh, you're so stupid, you're such a dope, you're such a klutz, they use words like this, right? Or, you're such a spaz, I don't know, you're retarded, and they start, you're so dumb, like, right? You hear teenagers talk like that. And the reason they talk like that, I think, is because they get excited over the fact that they feel close to somebody. Like, really close. We could really, just tell it as it is. What? Best friends. We're so just friends, you could just say it as it is. Say whatever you want, you're so stupid, As we mature in life, we realize that, we totally grow out of our teenage years, and we realize that those statements don't help a relationship, they harm a relationship. Because as you get very close to somebody, what you have to do then is you have to set up special boundaries. You have to preserve the relationship by being very careful how you treat the other. Just because you're so close doesn't mean you can say whatever you want. No, that hurts the relationship. When you get close, you start creating boundaries where you start really respecting the other more. You show respect. This is yours. It's okay if I use it. Do you mind if I borrow this? Yeah. Those type of statements show respect for the other's property. This is yours. And that builds the relationship. In other words, sometimes when we get close, the first tendency is we become so ecstatic over the fact that we feel so, intimate. So what do? We just sort of crash on everybody's boundaries, and we stop, we tend to say things which can be hurtful and disrespectful, and that's very harmful in a relationship. There's a point, certainly in husband and wife, where you get really close, but you got to step back and really respect each other's property. Respect, this is yours, this is mine. We own it together, but it means I'm going to be careful. I'm going to ask you, can I use it? Because I respect you. By setting up boundaries demonstrates respect for the other. I acknowledge you exist. I acknowledge you're somebody special. I'm very careful how I treat your property. That demonstrates boundary and respect. Now, I'm not suggesting that means we're supposed to be, formal, or super formal, and but even with kids sometimes, it's a very healthy in a relationship with a father and a daughter or a son. When you say to them, like, it's okay if I borrow your basketball. Dad, you bought me the basketball. Technically, you own it. Right? It was your gift. Yeah, true. But I'm demonstrating that I value this relationship. By the way, I value your property. I care about your property. This is yours. I'm not going to trample on it. I respect the boundary. I respect you. It's very healthy in a relationship. So that's what I'm saying. Teenagers tend to be so ecstatic over the fact that there's intimacy. Well, I finally have a friend, so excited. So oh, you're so dumb, you're so stupid. You hear them talk like that. You're such an idiot. Yep. Don't try that in marriage, right? Don't try it. Don't try it. It doesn't work. It's not good for it. It's not good. It's not good. I don't think so. Depends on the couple. Something you can do it, get away with it, but it needs to be tempered with a lot of respect for this is your stuff. This is my, I respect. And even if the person says, like the person, I asked my kid, can I borrow your basketball? Abba, of course. Like, what are you asking me for? There's no. But the question demonstrates I respect your property. I respect you. I respect there's a boundary. I'm not going to trample in on you because I respect you. So God is saying, relationship principle number 3 is respect boundaries. In the world of man and man, let's go there for a second, lo signal, don't kidnap. If there's any property which is ours, perhaps in the extreme way, what is it? Our bodies. Right? Respect the other person's property. Don't steal. Don't steal his body, even. Right? That's how far you have to go with this. That's ultimately our property. If it's God's property, but if there's anything we feel is ours, that we own, it's our body. To steal somebody, to kidnap, you're the ultimate violation. You stole him. Respect property. Respect what's his. In the world of man and God, God says, don't swear this table's a chair. Don't take my name and trample on it. Don't take my name and bring it through the mud. Respect what's mine. I know you want to fuse with me. I know you want to get to know me. I know you want intimacy with me. You want to love me. But the way you'll love me, the way this relationship will really work, is when you show respect towards me. Respect what's mine. Boundaries. I have my name. Don't trample through the mud and violate it and use it for such ridiculous things to swear that a table's a chair. Respect what's mine. So I think relationship principle number 3 is respect boundaries. So we're together so far? Relationship principle number 1, recognize existence of the other outside of you. Relationship principle number 2, loyalty. Look deep to see this person is unexchangeable, or God is unexchangeable. Relationship principle number 3 is respect boundaries. Create boundaries. Boundaries demonstrate respect. Relationship principle number 4. Well, let's see. What's commandment number 4? Zuchos Yom HaShabbos L'Kadashah. Keep Shabbos. Relationship principle number 8. Commandment number 8 is. Excuse me. Number 9 is. Number 8. Where are we? Number 9. 4 to 9. Is what? Lo sa'ana eid sheker. Don't be a false witness in a court of law. Keep Shabbos. Don't be a false witness in a court of law. What can possibly be the connection between those two? What's the connection? Keep Shabbos. Don't be a false witness. Beautiful. Shabbos is a day of testimony. That's exactly right. In fact, when we get up every Friday night and we make Kiddush, what are we doing? First, when you make Kiddush, you stand. Why do you stand? Or at least you stand for Yichulu. Why? Because Kiddush is a declaration of testimony. It's like we're witnesses in a court of law. We stand there with a cup of wine. The red wine, it focuses us, it gets our attention, it gets us salivating, it gets all of our impulses moving, it gets us excited. And now we're so excited, we're going to make a declaration of testimony. What's that testimony? We say, God, you're the creator of the universe. It's yours, you created it. And you're actively involved in that creation, demonstrated by the fact that you took us out of Egypt. You didn't just wind it up, but you're actively micromanaging it. And you demonstrated that when you changed nature to bring us out of Egypt. That's what we're saying. God, you're the creator and the manager. That's what we're testifying on Shabbos. And therefore, for 25 hours, we're going to cease creative activity because we're going to attribute that you are the creator. It's all yours. We're giving it back to you. That's the testimony of Shabbat. Shabbos is a day of testimony, declaring the truth about God. Now the other side of the equation, the other side of the tablets, what do we see? Don't be a false witness in a court of law, meaning if you have to come to a court of law, tell the truth. Tell the truth. Be a witness. When you're called to come to be a witness, tell the truth. That's what it said. They're both about being witnesses and telling the truth. I think relationship principle number 4 is, in order for a relationship to be successful, you have to look for the truth about the other. You have to look for the truth. Now, what does that mean? In the world of man and God, you have to look for truth. What does that mean? For example, there might be moments in our life when things are going to be painful. Or maybe we've experienced moments in our life when things are painful. Or maybe we've experienced or know people who are sick. And there's pain. And we say, God, I don't get it. I don't understand this. You're all about love and chesed and goodness and kindness, so why are you bringing such pain? You're a cruel God, Or you say to God, listen, I'm not going to love you or relate to you. Why? Because I don't understand. How could little children suffer like that? I dare say that's not being truthful. You know why? Because truth in Hebrew, emet, our organization, the word emet is aleph mem taf. It's the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, it's the middle letter of the Hebrew alphabet, it's the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Meaning truth means you look at the whole picture. You don't just look at one little incident. That's not truth. That's sheker. That's a lie. In fact, sheker, which means a lie in Hebrew, is shin kuf resh. Those 3 letters are right next to each other in the Hebrew language. Actually, in the wrong order. Kuf resh shin, shin kuf resh. But they're right next to each other in the language. Why? The alphabet. To show you that falsehood means you're looking at one little spot. That's falseness. That's sheker. That's a lie. Truth means you see the picture. See perspective, beginning, middle, end. God, I don't understand this pain. You're cruel. I don't want to get to know you. Oh. That's a lie. For most of my life, for 24 hours a day, every cell in my body works. My digestive tract works. My pulmonary system works. My cardio system works. I've had clothing. I've had food. I've had shelter. I've had warmth. I've had love. I've had t-shirts. I have a spinal cord. I'm able to walk. I'm able to move. I'm able to taste delicious foods. God, there's so much goodness in my life. There's so much goodness. Okay, right now something is painful. But I have to look at that pain in the context of all the good. That's truth. If you want to love God, you have to be truthful. You have to look to see that the pain in our life is usually only temporary and is the minority of our experience. Even the Holocaust, with all of its pain and all of its suffering, it was a 5-year period of human history. 1940 to 1945. It was a terrible period, don't get me wrong. But let's be honest, God, that's not the way Hashem chooses the world to be conducted most of the time. Most of the time, there's love, chesed, and goodness. And so God sometimes brings din, justice. Okay. But we have to see the context of all the goodness and love. Everything in our lives are like that. And we see people who are in pain or suffering. I remember Rabbi Schwab, I knew him very well. Rabbi Schwab was a great Rav in America. And when he was 70 or so he lost the ability to walk. And so they asked him one time, and they said to him, how do you deal with the fact that you can't walk? I remember he used to come to summer camp where I was up, and, we used to push him in his wheelchair. And he said, listen, he said, for 70 years of my life, God gave me legs. So now God's choosing to take away my legs. He said, but 70 years he gave me legs. I had the gift for 70 years. So now there's going to be a short period of my life where I don't have them. He's understand the loss of his legs in the context of all the goodness that God gave him. That's all. That's why we have to experience it. That's truth. You want to love God, you have to be truthful. If you're just going to focus on one incident and use that to reject God and say, God, you're cruel and I don't want a part of you, that's not truthfulness. That's a lie. That's sheker. That shouldn't give rage. Yeah.
Pretty much like with life, you have your you have your good stuff and your bad stuff. You can't just have one without the other, right? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying most of it's good.
Yeah, most of it's good, but
and even when it's bad, there's good.
If you take this life, and you live it, you also have to accept other things.
You have to, in other words, you have to understand that yet God uses pain. It's not really a nice lecture. We talk about sometimes, Hashem uses pain to teach us. It wakes us up. It makes us realize that we have limited time. It does a lot to undo any blemishes we might have in our soul. There's a lot of good that pain accomplishes. But we have to understand that even when we go and experience pain, it's a very small percentage of the non-pain that we experience in life and the goodness that God gives us. And even when we're experiencing pain, there's also so much goodness.
You can't be a descendant of Israel if you don't have suffering in your life.
Can't what?
Be a descendant of Israel.
Can't be descendant. But even God's pain is a manifestation of His love. You have to understand that's always love. But sometimes it hurts. But we have to understand that even when we experience things that we don't necessarily like, truth means that we look and we see the whole picture. That's truthfulness. Now, in the world of man and man, it's the same thing. You know, probably the most important mitzvah between man and man is heavy dan es kol adam l'chavschos. Judge favorably. But when our rabbis say judge favorably, they say it in a very interesting way. They don't just say judge favorably. They say it in Hebrew, heavy dan es kol ha'adam, and judge the entire person favorably. Do you hear the difference? Judge the entire person favorably. We thought, okay, so the person said something nasty, you know, the person didn't pay me back, you know, the person forgot to call me. Look at the whole picture. Look at the whole picture. He's a good person. The person always does so much good for you, so much kindness for you. So they made a mistake. They forgot to call. Yeah. They made a mistake. They were a little upset that day. They said something they shouldn't have said. They were in a bad mood. Judge it in the context of the whole person. That's how we want to be judged. We're not bad people. We get bad moods sometimes, right? So then we eat, we don't feel so good, we're a little tired, you know, a little upset, a little stressed out. Okay, I shouldn't judge the whole person.
Give the benefit of the doubt.
Give the benefit of the doubt. You want to have a relationship with somebody? Look for what's true about the other person. Don't focus on one little detail and say that's the person. No. Look for truth. Truth means aleph mem tov, the whole picture. Look at the whole entirety of the human being. So much good in you. Okay, you said a silly thing. Let it go. That's truthfulness. You want to have a truthful relationship? You want to have a relationship? You got to look for truth about the other. Look for truth about God. You love God. Look for the truth in the other. Look for the whole person. You love the other person. That's what it means to look for truth. That's why it's relationship principle number 5. So, of course, Yom Shabbos. Shabbos, testify truthfully about God. Lo sa'ana. Don't testify falsely in a court of law. Which really means by human beings. Don't testify falsely. Don't look for falsehood. Look for truth. Speak truth. Look at the whole picture. So I think relationship principle number 4 is you got to look for what's true about the other. If you don't look, not going to have anything. If you're bothered by little details, bothered by little things, it's not going to help. Look for what's truth about the other. That's why the Mishnah says in Pirkei Avos, it says, Aseh lecha rav, make for yourself a rabbi. Happy to be everybody's rabbi. My pleasure. Konei lecha chaver, buy for yourself a friend. Friends are very important. Spend money on your friends. Buy the birthday presents, take them out for dinner. You need friends. And then the Mishnah says right at the end, it says, V'hevi dan l'kol adam l'chavschos, and judge favorably. So everybody says, what's that doing there? Make for yourself a rabbi, acquire for yourself a friend, and judge everybody favorably? So everybody explains like this. If you want to have a rabbi, you have to judge favorably. Because a rabbi won't be perfect. But you want to have a rabbi. It's good to have a rabbi. You've got to judge him favorably. He's going to make mistakes also. He's human. You want to have a friend? Judge him favorably. He's not going to be perfect. But really what it means, I think, is looking for truth. Looking for what's real about the other. He's a good person. She's a good person. She made a mistake. He made a mistake. That's it. God is constantly flowing kindness. Any pain in our life, it's a small amount of what God gives. A small amount. Look for truth. Yeah.
What about for those times when some people actually have more pain and suffering than happiness?
Okay. So still, I think you have to look for the truth. Truth also means that we understand that everything that God does is purposeful and good. And even that pain is so purposeful and good. So it's like a surgeon who's performing an operation. It might be painful, but it's so purposeful and so good. So the pain I'm experiencing right now, maybe I'm really experiencing it, and it's a big part of my life. But I know it's a manifestation of God's love. That's also being truthful. By definition, God only does things which are pure love, and only the best possible good. That's also being truthful. Okay, let's go to relationship number 5. Relationship principle number 5, and I think this is the most important one. Kovidas avicha v'yasimecha, honor your mother and father. Lo sachamod, don't covet. What can possibly be the connection between those two concepts? What can possibly be the connection? Any suggestions? What's the common denominator? What's the relationship principle? Girls? What's that? Respect. Respect parents. Okay. True. It's true.
Respecting another person is whatever. Lo tachmod means.
Oh, lo sachmod means respect their properties. I hear the things. Yeah. 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 Oh, Alex, go.
It means appreciate what you have.
Oh, good. What are you saying? What do you mean? I think you're saying yeah. Go. Explain what you mean.
With your parents, they're the ones that gave you life, obviously, with the help of God, and you should appreciate for what they have done to you, what they have done for you. I'm sorry for the past 10, 20, 30 years, and don't be jealous of other people. Appreciate what you have. Don't always look for something new. Even if, because technically we have a good life, and we as human beings, we always want something more. It's like it's never enough for us. So be appreciative of what God gave you.
Don't take it for granted.
Sound good. Sound beautiful. Did you get Heritage Retreats? You went to Heritage?
I'm sorry, yeah.
You went? Beautiful. I got a hug right Kreidenberg. He said such a good job with you. Wow, this is great. Beautiful. I think I was saying something very beautiful here. Let me flesh out what I think you might be saying, and this is the way I would explain it. Why would a person covet? Why would a person covet? He's not happy with what he has. A person is not happy with what he has. In other words, the degree to which a human being can recognize, listen carefully, that they're entirely unique. Entirely unique. The degree to which a human being can recognize that they have a mission in this planet, on this planet, that no other person has. And that God has given you exactly what you need for your mission, and God is giving me exactly what I need for my mission. And there's no interface. None. We're all in laboratories, we all have jobs to do that no one else can do. The degree to which a human being can appreciate the uniqueness, that I am totally special, and I have a special and unique job in this world, I dare say the degree to which a person will not desire what someone else has. A person will only desire what someone else has when they feel, look, I don't have anything special about me, so why should you get everything? Why should you get the nice car? I want your car. The person says, wait a minute, I have my own job to do. I have my own mission. And therefore, I don't need what you have. You have what you have. Great. I have exactly what I need for my mission. Lo sachamod is really saying, when it's saying don't covet, it's really saying look at yourself and appreciate that you have a specialness that nobody else has. And you don't need what anyone else has. And don't desire what they have. Because they have what they need for their mission. And you'll get what you need for your mission. And your mission is so unique and so special, it doesn't matter at all what anyone else has. There's no interface. Zero. It says in the Gemara, right? A person can't touch what's been apportioned to his friend, even up to a hair's breadth, it says. You have what you have and I have what I have. Because you have your uniqueness and I have my uniqueness. So if a person covets and desires, I want what you have, it means a person doesn't really appreciate they have anything special. I don't need what you have. Why should I need what you have? I have what I have for my special mission. You have what you have for your special mission. Beautiful. Coveting is really the antithesis, the opposite of appreciation that you're unique. Do you know how that works? Now, how does that relate to honoring parents? A little bit hard. How does that relate to honoring parents? The mitzvah to honor your parents in the Torah is a very unique mitzvah. It's almost extreme in what the Torah says. The Torah never says you have to like your parents. It says you have to honor them. What does it mean to honor them? You have to give them respect. It means you have to make sure they're fed, they're clothed, they have food, they have a place to sleep.
Don't send it to nursing home.
What's that?
Don't send it to nursing home.
Right, yeah, maybe. But you have to make sure that they have what they need. That's what it really means. Now, hopefully in life, the fact that these people have given to you more than any other two human beings you'll ever meet in your life, that should engender a feeling of gratitude and love and a desire to want to give back and to be close. And normal human beings and healthy human beings feel that way. And therefore the relationship should be warm, very deep and very warm and full of love. But the commandment doesn't say to love them, doesn't say to like them. You got to honor them. Now why is that? The reason why, it's very extreme even how far it goes. The Gemara describes certain cases where a certain rabbi is giving a class, a lecture, his mother comes up to him in front of the whole lecture hall and spits in his face, and he has to remain silent. Respect. Another case talks about a father who grabs his son's money bag and throws it into the ocean. Doesn't say anything. No. You have to show respect. Now, sometimes you listen to talk shows on the radio, and they talk about getting to know the biological father, right? The person says, I'm really curious to contact my biological father. I feel kind of lost, and psychologists oftentimes recommend, don't go there. What do you need it for? He deserted you when you were, a week old. What do you need that for? Just stay away. And people say, I really have this need. Now, I'm going to suggest something. I'm not saying a person's supposed to go out and pursue the biological father always, but there's a need to. There is a need to, and you know what the need is. The mitzvah to honor parents and give respect to parents is such an important mitzvah because when I give respect to them, I'm acknowledging that they were the two human beings who brought me here. Respect for parents really says that my existence is not an accident. I came here at a certain time with two special people, and therefore I have a special mission in this world, a unique mission, and these are the two people who brought me here. And therefore when a person gives honor to the people who brought you here, it means it's because you really acknowledge that you have a special mission. You're not just an accident of nature, but you have a high-level mission in this world. And these were the two people who God selected to bring me here. And therefore I would suggest perhaps that if a person has a need to get in contact with the biological parent, it might not be healthy to pursue the relationship, but the need to see and acknowledge and maybe even to do some act of respect for that person might be a healthy impulse. You know why? Because it's true you left me, when I was 1 week old. You've been such a bum to mom, right? But you are the person who brought me here. And thereby my giving you respect is really acknowledging that my existence is worthy of respect. Do you hear that? When we respect our parents, and that's why it's such a crucial mitzvah for us, it doesn't say you have to like them, but you have to respect them. Because by respecting them, you're acknowledging that you're worthy of respect. That's what it means. Now hopefully you will like them. Naturally you should like them. You should love the people who do so much for you. God created that way, us in that way. That more people do for us, God does for us. We have a natural desire to give back. But it's such a crucial mitzvah. Because respecting the people who brought us here means that you're important. Now do you hear the connection? Lo Sachmod says, the degree to which you can recognize that you're unique is the degree to which you won't covet. The degree to which you recognize that you have a special mission, you're not an accident of nature, is the degree to which you'll give honor to the people who brought you here. So relationship principle number 5, and I think it maybe is the most important of all the principles, is what? Self-respect. Respecting your own uniqueness. Respecting your own uniqueness. You have a unique mission. You are unique. And it's so important in a relationship. In a relationship with God, it's so important. You know why? Because without my feeling that I'm unique and special, I might feel that maybe God doesn't want to get to know me. Or how can I get to know such an awesome being like God? Why would he want to get to know me? But if I could say, wait, I'm unique, I'm special. 2 people brought me here at the exact time for a special mission. Therefore, I can say I'm worthy of a relationship with God. There's something special and unique about me. And of course God wants to have a relationship with me, and I should try to pursue my relationship with God. And the world of man and man, one can really only love somebody else and see the specialness in someone else if you see the specialness in yourself. You can't look at yourself and say, I am unique, I am special. There's something about me which is totally, totally unique. How am I going to look and find that in you? And I want to love you for who you are, but if I can't see that I'm somebody special, how can I find something special in you? So the degree to which a person can say that I am worthy of love and respect because I'm unique is really the degree to which I could say and I see that in you. But you got to see in yourself first. To love someone else first, it means you have to love yourself. You got to see that you are somebody really valuable. And the degree you could see that is the degree you'll see in somebody else. You know, oftentimes in relationships people tell and they say they don't feel worthy of being loved. I don't feel worthy of, people say that. They don't feel worthy of being loved. I can't accept your love because I don't feel I'm worthy of it. And a person like that can't even give love because they don't see there's something about themselves worthy of being loved. How they can discover something in someone else worthy of being loved? I can only discover something about you that's worthy of being loved if I realize I have something that's worthy of being loved. So perhaps relationship principle number 5, maybe it's the most important one, is you have to recognize your own uniqueness. In the world of man and man, we express that out by don't covet what other people have. You don't need it. Everything you have for your mission, God will give you. In the world of man and creators, it means acknowledge the creators who brought you here. Give them honor, because by giving them honor, you recognize that you're not just an accident. You have a unique mission, they brought you here. Recognize your uniqueness. So let's just summarize. What do we say? We have 10 commandments. These 10 specifically. Why? Because the whole purpose of Torah is to have a relationship with God and to other human beings. Getting to know a being outside of ourselves, God, and becoming God-like. Getting out of our own ego and creating ourselves to be God-like by loving another human being. Having relationships is what the Torah is all about. If that's what the Torah is all about, if that's the klal godol v'yavta l'reich chamocha, love another outside of yourself, if that's the whole point of Torah, it makes sense that the first 10 commandments that God gives us will be the vehicles to get there, will be the 10 principles to get there. And as our rabbis say, 10 commandments folded in each other, 5 principles. What are those 5 principles? Recognize the existence of the other outside of yourself. Number 2, there has to be loyalty. Look for the essence of the other. Number 3, respect the boundaries, the property of the other. Number 4, look for what's true about the other. And finally, number 5, the relationship has to begin from a point where you realize your own specialness, your own uniqueness, your own self-respect. Perhaps those are the 5 relationship principles, 10 commandments, 5 principles, and perhaps that's the whole purpose of the Torah. And if we're going to uncode and unlock the 10 commandments, perhaps we've unlocked it in just one way. We realize that God is speaking out these 5 major relationship principles. The most important major relationship principles we need for all relationships. Okay, bye. Shabbos. How you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
See you soon.
Yeah, see you. Okay. How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. What's your first name again?
Raphael.
Raphael. Good to see you.
See you on Monday.